Let us say hello to the one and only Raging Al Iaquinta, who is an anti-open scorer. Look at this guy. Anti-open scorer.
Yeah, every time there's a bad decision, I'm like, here it comes.
Here it
3,
is.
2, 1. Open scoring from Ariel Helwani. This would fix the whole problem. Oh, my God.
First of all, wait. Before we get into it, it's great to see you. Thanks for doing this. Cool pool table behind you. Billiards? I like it. Or is it snooker?
Billiards. Oh,
okay,
yeah.
all right.
9-ball, little 8-ball, you know?
I love it. Most importantly, off the top, Mazel Tov to you on selling the Jackman family a new home on Long Island. I mean, what a moment this was. Not only going above and beyond and getting them their house of their dreams, but getting Bruce Buffer to make the announcement, the picture on Instagram. I mean, a real 5-star first-class treatment that you gave this family. Well done, Al. This is beautiful stuff.
They all get the 5-star first-class treatment, and it was awesome working with NewYorkRic and his family. Got to, I know him from the show and everything. We've seen each other, but when you work with someone that closely and his family, he's got a beautiful family, beautiful kids, and they're going to end up going to the same high school that I went to.
Wow.
So I just know that they're in they ended up in the best possible place, the best spot. It's like Long Island in general, it's beautiful. There's so many great towns. You can be at the beach in 15 minutes. You could be in the city in 45. You could be on the North Shore. You could be out in the Hamptons. But Wantagh got a special place in my heart. And we were looking at a bunch of different towns, and we found this house in Wantagh, and they loved the house. I don't even think they realize how great they're going to have it. They're going to realize as their kids get older, get into the school district and everything. It was a pleasure working with him, getting to know him. What a stand-up guy and great family. So it was awesome.
They're going to be Wantagh Warriors?
They're going to be Wantagh Warriors.
Wow. Yes. That is amazing. But honestly, when it comes to like inspection, he's a bit of a stickler, right? I mean, is he pointing out things? You're like, come on, Rick. I mean, we could let this go. Is he one of those guys?
Yeah, his wife's a stickler. We're not getting anything past Holly, that's for sure. I don't know if I don't want to go with. I mean, she's the two of them together are a great team.
That's great.
And they did a great job of working with me, and buying a house on Long Island right now. It's a fight. It's like they put in so many offers. They fell in love with houses that they didn't get. And then, this one came along, and it all worked out the best. The whole time we were like, we all get frustrated. You find a house, everyone loves it. I think it's a great house for them. It's in a great town. You put in an offer way over asking price, and then someone comes in and they outbid you. They have a term that we can't agree to or something like that. And it's just heartbreaking every time because it's a big process. This is, it's a big move. It's where you're going to end up for a while. So when when we got that offer accepted, and there was a lot that went into it. It was a long process, a fun process. Now that it all worked out great.
Well done. Delighted for him and the family, and it was great to hear that he was working with you. He told me a little later in the process, and I thought it was amazing.
That was awesome. And it was awesome.
Now back to the real issue at hand here. How is it possible? Such a smart guy, such a worldly guy, a learned man. How could you be the one dissenter? I mean, I have not talked to one person who has, and you, because I have so much respect for you, I needed to have you on to explain to me why you would be against open scoring. What is it about open scoring that makes you say, no, I don't want it? Combat sports would be ruined. MMA would be ruined if we brought in open scoring across all the promotions. Please explain.
I didn't even think I thought you guys were kidding. I thought it was like a joke. Like, what? This is a thing that you're I don't know, like you're drinking beers, you're smoking weed, and you're like, yo, wouldn't it be cool if they told people in between the rounds what the score was? Like and then you laugh about it, and then you just go on and you continue watching the fights. It's not even like a thing. You're gonna let them know the score in between the round. This is like a throw. This is like
why not? Why would you not want to know?
Because why? Who's even bringing up knowing? Like, I'm not even understanding why. Like,
okay, so my basic idea is
baseball?
The fighters shouldn't. We see time and again these fights that end with one fighter being like, I can't believe it. I can't believe it. Well, at the very least, 3-round fight, 5-round fight, shouldn't you know where you stand? There's so much at stake. You know about this, the show, win model, the bonuses, you know, you lose a fight, you go all the way down the ladder. There's so much at stake when you guys get 3 fights in a year. Wouldn't you want to know going into that 5th round, that 3rd round, I have to either finish this fight, I have to do something, I'm down, I thought it was up, it's tied, I thought it was up, blah, blah. What's wrong with that knowledge? Knowledge is power. I can't imagine one negative thing to come from having that knowledge. What's the drawback? That's the part that I can't wrap my head around.
The drawback is that it's not fighting. Like, it's not fight. It's not, to know the score. It's like a sports thing. This is the essence of battle. Like, this is what it's all about. Like baseball, basketball, football, those guys are basically, they're fighting each other and they're agreeing not to fight. They're not going to hurt each other. We're going to keep score. I'm from the New York Mets. You're from the New York Yankees. I want to fight you because I want to see who's going to be better, but we're not going to fight because that's, we're not fighters. So we're going to play this game instead and we're going to keep score. And if someone wasn't watching on the outside, they're probably not going to know what the hell's going on because there's so many rules. There's so much this and that. You got to keep the score. So the score really doesn't mean it's like, we're competing in this game and that's the score. When you're watching a fight, you know who's winning. You can see who's winning the fight, who's not winning the fight. To put a number on it in between the rounds, it's just not that's not combat. That's not fighting. It's not.
But they are. They are putting a number. You just find out at the end as opposed to in the middle while it's happening. So you don't know that you're getting screwed in the middle of the fight. You only find out that you're getting screwed after the fight.
The point is to finish the fight. The fight is to be finished. This is the only reason that there's time limits. This is because we can't fight forever. In baseball and football, there's no way to end the fight. There's no way to end the game early. So you have to keep score. In this, there's no score. There shouldn't be a score. I would be a bigger advocate of letting there be no score and you just fight until someone finishes the fight. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not doable because of TV, because of time, because of everything. But we're looking too much into the scoring thing. We're playing up to the score. Is everything about scoring or is it about trying to go in there and win the fight? I think the fighters know where they're at and where they stand. There's bad judging. The bad judging is, I don't think that's going to change whether you give them whether you let them know in the first round or whether you let them know at the end of the fight. If a judge is, holding these judges accountable for anything, it's not going to make a difference. These guys are in their own world. They're on their own planet. If you want to fix that, that's what I think needs to be fixed. But every time there's a bad decision going into open scoring, I don't think that's not it's like if you want to know the score, if the fighters want to know the score, I think that's a different thing. But if it has to do with fixing judging,
no,
I don't see how one fixes the other.
So to be clear, I've never said that open scoring will fix judging. And we can argue about the current system and how it's a 10-point must system and how that was originally instituted, right, for boxing, right? 10-point must system is a boxing scoring system that has now been implemented for MMA, and there have been changes to the scoring system. 2017, they changed it, they modified it. Now it's about damage, all this stuff. We could go on and on about all of that. I have never said that open scoring will fix judging or make judges better per se. Only thing I like it for is 2 reasons. Number one, it arms you with knowledge. You know where you stand going into these very important fights that can alter the trajectory of your career. And number 2, if we know the same way we know what's going on in other sports when it's happening in real time, if we know that there's a fugazi judge scoring a fight in a fugazi way, you know of a couple, hey, if we put that spotlight on them as the show goes on, I feel like that will up their game. That will make them more accountable for their actions, right? Because you know this, they never have to answer for shit. They don't have to answer for anything. They put in these crappy scorecards and then they disappear into the ether. They're the only ones that never have to answer. You have to answer. Your coaches have to answer. The promoters have to answer. Everyone has to answer except for these officials. And they're the ones that have the most impact on the fights when it comes down to it, when it's a decision fight. Why is that? They deserve to be held accountable just like you guys.
They should be held accountable. I can't argue with that at all. But I don't think whether they release a horrible judging score at the end of the fight or in between the first, second, third round, I don't see the difference.
Okay, so let me ask you this.
You think Doug Crosby is really going to you think he's going to give a shit? If they put his face, he'd like it more. He's going to enjoy that more. He's going to enjoy the score being, and I think, it's one judge in particular, but I mean, there's some great judges. There's some great judges, and they've put in a lot of time and a lot of work. And it's a thankless job. You put out, even in between rounds, if you put up, 10-9, this guy, and the judge has it right, it's like, okay, no one really pays attention to it. That was it. But I don't think showing the score, and they're not really showing the scores in between rounds. It's like, now we're going, all right, do we publicize the scores on the Titantron for everybody to see? Or do we have the ref go in there, and do we have the ref tell both corners, or are we just telling the corners? Or like, there's so much nonsense that goes.
Okay, well, let me tell you before you throw it out. So we just had Shannon Knapp on. Invicta has open scoring because they do their events in Kansas. The state of Kansas has open scoring. So does Colorado. And what they do is they will tell the coaches. Now, the fighter could say to the coach, he could say, or she could say, I don't want to know the score. So the coach is armed with the information. Maybe he doesn't want to relay it. Maybe he does, who knows? But at least someone on the team knows the score. They tell you, once the round now starts, round 2, 3, 4, anything after 1 starts, they flash it on the screen, they flash it on the broadcast. Don't you think, number one, the coach can now tell you a little, some different stuff. If you're now actually down 2-0 as opposed to 1-1, he can tell you a little bit of different attack. I think you would have that knowledge, right? You would want to know that you're down 2-0 as opposed to 1-1. You got to win this round. What if you think you're up 2-0 and it's actually you're down 2-0? What if you think you're up 2-0 and it's actually 1-0? Okay, fine. And then could you imagine? It's a sold out T-Mobile Arena. We're going into the 5th and final round. It's Ioane Jędrzejczyk versus Zhang Weili. It's a sold out Barclays Center. We're going to the 5th and final round. Khabib Nurmagomedov and Iaquinta taking this fight on 24-hour notice. And all of a sudden, boom, as my thing falls, 2-2. Oh my God. It's down to the last 5 minutes. Buckle up. This is going to be theater at its finest. Where's the drawback? Or 3-1. Al has to go for a finish. He's got everything on the line here. Watch Al just throw caution to the wind. Where's the drawback? I'm honestly trying to understand where the drawback is. Also, I just wanted to say to a previous point, I don't mean to go on and on here. I don't know if you're a baseball fan, and the anti-open scorers, they hate when you compare, fighting to other sports. And I get it to a degree, but just stick with me here for a second. Are you a baseball fan? Do you follow baseball at all? Do you watch baseball at all?
Very little, but yeah.
Umpires, they all kind of call games a little bit differently, right? They talk about how the strike zone is a little bit bigger for this guy, a little bit smaller for this guy. You're Aaron Judge, you go up to the plate and you're like, damn, this guy's strike zone is a lot smaller than I expected. He just called that ball that I thought was a ball a strike. Oh my gosh, now I have this knowledge that I got to swing if it's here when it's usually a ball. It's actually a strike. I got to swing. If not, I'm going to be, striking out looking, right? So now you have the knowledge of how these fights are being scored. Or these games being scored. So now you go to a fight, you're in Virginia and you're fighting Jorge Masvidal, and the round that you thought was a round for you, they actually scored it for him. Now I got to do things a little bit differently in order to ensure that I won this, and in order to ensure that no one boos me on the way out and hates me because they know where the score is at before we even raise the hands. Where's the drawback, Al? I'm very much struggling to see where the drawback is.
That was one of the biggest moments of my career. I got on that mic and I told them to go. But so in the going into the 5th round, no matter what the score is, if it's close, if it's not, if it's 3-1, 2-2, you're getting that reaction no matter what. People are going, oh man, the judges could have it this way. The judges could have it that way. I think it's this guy, freaking Jansen. My buddy's on the corner saying, he's got this guy. Freaking this guy's on the other side of the couch. He's going, no, we're winning. This is what it's all about. There's that unknown going into it, and the fighters know where they're at. I think they know if it's a close fight. They know if it's a blowout. If they need to get the finish, it's not. Some guys, they need to get the finish, and they elect not to go for it because you could tell a guy that he's up. He's losing 4-0 in a title fight, and he might not. He might just try to. He might just. It's not going to. That I don't think is going to force him to go for the finish.
Why?
If he knows he's down.
Why not?
If he knows he's down. He knows he's down. He's going to go for the finish. Anyway, I think the fighters know where they're at in the fight.
No, they don't. Every week I see someone being like, I can't believe I lost that. Rose is upset. Holly's upset. This guy's upset. They're upset every week that they thought they were winning the fight and they don't get the nod. It's like every week at this point.
Are they upset?
Gilbert's upset. Everyone's upset.
Well, is that why they're upset? I don't think that's I don't think that's the. I mean, like they're upset that the judges didn't give them the decision, but is that really? I think there's more to be. There's certain fights where it's like, who even cares what the judges think? Right. This fight. Let's like go to the next fight. Let's get Michael Chandler back in here doing backflips. You know what I mean? At that point, who cares what the judges think? We're just
but you guys care. This is half your paycheck. This is your livelihood. Again.
Oh yeah, but in certain fights, yeah. But guys are fighting, girls are fighting.
What's so interesting about this to me is that you have been one of the most outspoken guys in terms of like fighter rights, especially on the UFC roster. And this to me is all about the fighters. Like you guys have such, at this point, your power is so limited, right? You have such a little say in what you get. You don't get to choose what you wear. You don't get to choose what your corner wears. Heck, you can't even bring in an American flag anymore into the cage. It's that limited. Forget about the banners from back in the day in the Spike TV days. You don't get, you have to be tested 24/7, 360, all this stuff. You have so little say. The only say that you have really is like, who's going to be cornering you? You can't even pick your manager sometimes. You know this. They sometimes say, oh, I'm not going to deal with that guy. Get me to the next guy. At the very least, shouldn't you know where you stand in a fight? Like, again, I don't see how it would affect how you fight, and I really don't see how it affects the product. And I'm surprised. I have to say I'm surprised. Rage Now, who's been at the forefront, who's taken a lot of bullets, a lot of shots, is anti-open scoring.
Because it's just, this is the sport that I love, that I grew up with.
You think it ruins it?
The good fighter, that's a strategy. A great fighter is strategic in winning a fight the way it is now. You're going to completely change the sport. It's going to be completely changed. And once you do that, then it's like, what are you going to go? If it doesn't work out, are you going to go back? Are you going to? But this is for the guys that grew up watching MMA, and like that's a whole factor in the sport to win the judges, and not knowing what the score, being smarter than your opponent. You know what I mean? You're going to give your opponent knowledge that you might be ahead of the game. You might be ahead of your opponent, and now you're giving your opponent a little bit of information that you knew. You might know. I might know. I might say, listen, this idiot across the cage from me, he might think he's up. He might think he's up. He's going to take his foot off the gas. But I'm smarter than him. He doesn't know the score. I know the score.
How can you be sure? How can you be sure you know the score? How can you be sure?
Well, that's the thing. You can't be sure. That's the thing. The smarter guy going into the smarter fighter going into the fifth round doesn't need to know the score. They know the score. If their technique is and their experience and everything, their fight IQ is higher than the other fighter, you're evening the playing field by giving the dumber fighter the score. going into the later rounds or going into any round, really. The first round, a fighter might come out and they might have thought they won and they didn't. And now I know I won the fight. Or I might know that I lost the round, and the guy ahead of me, he might have thought he lost it too, but I know I lost. So I know I have to go hard in the third. He might have thought, you know what I mean? So it's, I think the smarter fighter doesn't want the other fighter to know in between rounds.
Okay, what about this?
Sure.
What if they came up to you and said, do you want open scoring? And you say no, but your opponent, Jorge Masvidal, is like, yeah, I want it. Would you be okay if he knew and you didn't? Or would you be okay with something that I said this past Monday, where I was like, all right, they go up to you guys after the weigh-ins Friday morning, and they say, do you want open scoring? If you say yes and Masvidal says yes, you'll have open scoring for this fight. But if you say no and Masvidal says yes, no, sorry, no open scoring for anyone. You have to be on the same page. So there could be some fights. Hey, and it comes up, is like, this next fight's brought to you by Modelo. Brewed for the fighting spirit. We want to let you know both fighters have agreed to open scoring in this bout. We will know where they stand going into the final round. Isn't that fun?
The whole conversation, I'm going, what are we even talking about? This is fighting. We're not playing bait. There's no score. Like, you tell me that if it goes to a decision, God forbid, you don't never want it to go to a decision. You want it. I don't want to worry about the score in between the first rounds. I don't want someone we're like talking about this before. Yeah. It's like we're making deals before.
But there is scoring. Scoring is a part of the sport. It's just arming yourself with the knowledge in the middle of the fight as opposed to at the end of the fight where you have to complain afterwards. I can't believe it.
Scoring is a part of the sport, and also not knowing what the score is a part of the sport. That's the beauty of the sport. That's what is so great about this.
Shouldn't we evolve over time? Shouldn't we?
Yes. If judging was perfect, would you still want open scoring? If the right fighter won every single time, the right fighter, it's subjective. You can't really you watch two guys fight on the street. There's some guys, they're gonna get two people fight on the street. There's a knockout. Everyone knows who won. The neighborhood, everyone's talking, and it's this guy won, this guy didn't. You get a fight where two guys or girls just go at it. And in the neighborhood, some people are saying this guy won. Some people won. There's never going to be a right or wrong. There's always going to be an issue. The issue that open scoring, I feel like you're really pushing it for, is when someone is getting screwed in the judging. And
it's not just screwed, just having the knowledge. Just having the knowledge. By the way, I would love a world where no fight goes the distance and there's a definitive winner. But as you know, that doesn't always happen, especially when you have two high-level athletes. Another issue that I have, by the way, is that it's a boxing model. Now, here's the thing. In boxing, there's some crazy scorecards. Let's be honest. I mean, sometimes we just saw a fight with Dimitri Bivol and Canelo. It was not as close as the scorecards would suggest. However, I know what a 10-8 is in boxing. You get knocked down, it's a 10-8. I know what it is. In MMA, what the hell is a 10-8? Oh, when there's a lot of damage, like this is a video game. Don't you feel as an athlete like it's all just a little bit confusing, especially with the new changes that they brought upon in 2017? I mean, let's be honest. The broadcasters don't even know half the time what the scoring is. They say, oh, that takedown sealed the deal. Takedowns can't seal the deal, a quick takedown. That's not how you actually score a fight. It's about damage. Do you feel as an athlete that it's a little confusing, or do you feel like you're armed with the right information, knowing how the judges are actually scoring these fights in this day and age?
Well, that's a whole different story, I think. I think this and open scoring are two totally different things.
It's a bridge. It's a bridge.
It's not a bridge. It's not a bridge. It's going to change the sport. This is what it's all about. This is what it's been like forever. Everyone growing up watching this sport. If a kid's growing up and he's watching an open scoring, it's like
amazing.
God, so
great theater.
So again, couldn't be more against it. But what was the last thing we were just talking about?
I was talking about, okay, let's just say you're not into open scoring, because again, as I've said, I don't think open scoring fixes judging.
The 10-8. Oh, I got you. The 10-8 round.
The knowledge, right? Do you know how fights are being scored now? Do you really feel like you have a grasp on how the fights are being scored, what they're looking for? How do you win a round?
See, I do.
You do.
I think a lot of people might not. I think there's a lot. I mean, you got to really know. It's tough. It's tough. I think I have a general idea of how they're scoring it. There's always the outlier judges, you know?
Yeah. I mean, well, there's a lot of people
that's the issue. The 10-8, I think they could be a little bit more giving with 10-8 rounds. I think there definitely should be a 10-9 should be one thing and a 10-8 should be another thing. And those should be clearly stated. And I think more 10-8 rounds are needed to judge fights fairly. But I think that's the issue. That the issue is the judging. The issue is not the open scoring is not going to fix anything. If anything, if I'm sitting in between the first and second round, and I think I just beat the crap out of a guy, and they come out of here and they go, "You lost that round." I don't know. I'm free. You might like self-destruct. The fighter might self-destruct. You know what I mean?
What do you mean self-destruct? What are you talking about?
I don't know. You can see people if someone goes out there and has a great round, they think they're winning, and then you tell them that they lost that round.
You're a fan of wrestling, right? Not pro wrestling, like collegiate wrestling, amateur wrestling. What if they never scored those fights? Like they never made that public. Only the referee knew. He didn't say anything. He didn't do like he didn't do any of that. How would that be fair?
Well, that's kind of like the same thing as they're agreeing not to throw punches, and this is how we're going to win this fight.
But you don't know where you stand. Gable Steveson doesn't win the Olympic gold if he doesn't know where he stands. You know that, right? You saw that.
But do they get? I did see that. Incredible.
It was incredible.
That guy, yeah,
he's the man.
Incredible.
But he doesn't know. If he doesn't know where he stands, he is not doing what he did in those final, whatever it was, 18, 20 seconds to win the Olympic gold. He's probably doing one of those things, and he's not actually going for it. Now, let me ask you this. Can I put you on the spot here for a second? Do you mind?
Gable Steveson one. That's a good one.
That is a good one. Come on, Al.
That's a good point. But I just can't get with it. I can't get with it. It's a great point. You bring up a great point, but it's not going to be 4 minutes and 50 seconds in the fifth round.
No, but it'll be 5 minutes.
He has to not. What's that?
It'll be 5 minutes.
Yeah, but that's how it is anyway. They got 5 minutes.
They don't know for sure. I just saw a fight with Carla Esparza and Rose. Rose thinks that she's winning.
Oh my God! Don't bring that fight up, please.
Okay, can I read you something? Can I read you something? I just saw a fight with MVP and Logan Storley, your boy Logan. You saw this fight in London?
Yes.
I hate to say it. I know you're both Dave Martin guys. Love Dave. Love Logan. Logan didn't win that fight. I'm sorry. You know this, right? You don't win fights by holding on to people. You don't win fights.
Damage is first and foremost.
Yes.
That's for sure. You know, control, that's a different kind of fight. It's a different kind of fight. And I don't think what the scoring, how is that going to make a difference though? They're going to tell him that he's getting taken down. He's getting held. Everyone knows it. And that's it. What are you going to do about it?
Let me ask you this. Laura Sanko.
If you would have told him that he won every round, he's still getting taken down and he's getting held down. There's no difference. He knew the whole time that he was probably, I mean, if he thought he was winning that fight off of
he won
very few strikes.
48-47. MVP won 48-47.
Yeah.
In my mind. Laura Sanko is a great ambassador for the sport. You know Laura, right?
I don't agree with the 48-47 in Ariel's.
I know. The damage. Look at the damage. Okay,
I don't think anything changes. What changes though? Is it going to be a less of a controversial decision when we knew that the whole time going along? Because MVP couldn't have done anything to change it. He would have. Well,
yeah. If he knew he was down, maybe he does something differently. The other thing that I'm trying to mention here is that it's all very confusing. The whole damn thing is confusing for everyone. We have journalists putting out tutorials on how to score fights, when in reality we should be the one asking the questions about this. And actually, the media is tending to know more about this. Let me read this to you. Okay, Laura Sanko put out this great poll 18 hours ago. Listen to what I say here. Quiz: Fighter A takes down Fighter B with a high crotch, okay? You got a fighter A. He takes down fighter B with a high crotch. I'm going to name the fighters to make it easier. Iaquinta takes down Jorge Masvidal with a high crotch. Lifts him.
Don't make it about us. Make it just do a fighter A, fighter B.
Okay, fine. Sorry, I'm just trying to make it like okay. Lifts him and all right, fine. Sorry. Lifts him and slams him down, but fighter B immediately gets up. Okay, so he took him with a high crotch, lifts him, slams him down, but fighter B gets up immediately. Fighter B then takes down fighter A with a body lock trip and controls A on the ground for 2 minutes. Literally nothing else happens in the round. Who wins? She adds this. It's a theoretical exercise. 0 strikes are thrown in this round. I realize that would never happen in real life. Maybe not. But sometimes isolating factors like this help to get to the root of the idea. So, who do you think won that round? Was it fighter A who took him down with the high crotch with the big slam, but then the guy got up right away? Or is it the guy who got up right away, took him down with the body lock trip, controlled him, but didn't throw any strikes, but controlled him for 2 minutes? Who won that round in your opinion?
This is you're like this. Who won the round?
Who would you score it for? You got your guy goes back. You say, yo, you got this, or yo, you lost this.
Honestly, it depends on the slam. If it's you got to think about it like almost like a street fight. Like, who would you rather be at the end of those? At the end of that exchange, who would you rather be? Did the guy get slammed on his head and like, did he get rattled and did he get hurt? Was there damage done? If there was damage done, then you got to go with that guy. I got to think.
Yeah.
If the guy took him down, it was like a smooth technical takedown. And then the other guy is working to escape and the other guy's, switching from half guard, doing a beautiful escape to and getting his leg out, going to a side control, mount it, or if it's a technical way that he keeps him down, you got to respect the technique. So I think it depends. It goes so much.
By the way, I agree. It's fighter A. The big slam should win because it was the most impactful damage of the round. But the fact that we're like, but the 2 rounds, this and that, this to me is more of a stain on the sport than knowing at least what the score is. That's not fighting. Oh, but you held me down for 2 minutes. What the hell is that? That's not how fighting till the death is. At least know where everyone stands. That's the bottom line. Could I ask you another thing, by the way, before I'm going to have to let you go here because I don't want to take up your whole day. I know you got a ton of houses to sell.
Big closing coming up tonight. I got one tonight.
Geez.
Another one on Friday.
Mazel tov.
Frank Spano, Matt Serra black belt.
Oh yeah,
beautiful house. Hot pod.
I'm hearing July 16th, Long Island. Any chance Ray Janelle makes a return or no? Too soon.
Slim to none.
Okay. Are we officially done?
I don't know, man.
Right.
I don't know. We're just doing what we're doing.
The UBS.
Aljamain, do you know what the 23rd of May?
Tell us. Go ahead. You were there.
Aljamain Sterling Day.
Amazing. You were there.
I was there. I saw the whole thing. It was insane. They shut down. We went from Uniondale to East Meadow to Belmore to Merrick. Went through all the towns, ending up at Uniondale High School. It was awesome to see. I mean, that guy, after 13 months of what that guy went through, when the other guy knees him in the head and all these fans are talking crap, and I love him. He pokes at him a little bit and he keeps him going. And then the way he went out there and everyone thought he was getting killed. Everyone said he was getting killed this time. Peter Yan was going to go, he's an actor, is this and that. That first fight was not a true representation of what Alja do. And I think he's still getting so much better. It's scary how much he's still got a lot. He was off for 13 months. He just got back in. That's a huge layoff.
Yeah.
Goes in there and you see how quick he took Peter Yan's
back. It was
back.
great. That second round.
He deserved every bit of that. They shut down the streets. They had the politicians, the police officers, the firefighters, everyone paying respect. The streets were closed down. We were going through there. Aljo was just loving everybody. This is a guy that deserves every bit of it. So hats off. May 23rd, Aljamain Sterling Day.
Yeah, and July 17th. Do you know what July 17th is?
Chris Weidman Day.
That's right. That's right. I think April. Oh, gosh, my memory. It would be April 7th. Should be Iaquinta Day.
No, come on.
The day you took the great Khabib to deep waters. You got screwed that night too, by the way. You got screwed.
I got freaking screwed. Those judges, those freaking judges, we got to fix judging. I should have had a parade. I should have had a day.
That's right.
No, you can't.
I'm just
what Aljo and what I know, me too. what Weidman what they've done is incredible for Long Island, for the sport, for everybody, and it's so well deserved that they got this day, man. It's great. It's awesome.
Great conversation, great debate, Al. I still love you, even though you're very much wrong in this regard. But you're always welcome here, and I appreciate you having this conversation with us.
You know what this would be like, Ariel? This is the same thing in reverse.
What?
It would be like if they said a baseball game.
Yes.
Well, we shouldn't even give them the score. We shouldn't tell them the score.
Yeah. All right. So they'll write it down on a piece of paper.
Till the end of the game, they shouldn't tell them. They shouldn't tell them the score.
I feel like it's pretty easy to keep track, and everyone would. By the way, I feel like everyone would want to keep track.
What is it?
I feel like everyone would want to know the score, so they would write it down on a piece of paper. Yankees 2, Angels 1.
Yeah, but you got to watch the fight. You got to watch. You got to see what's going on. One guy gets slammed, then the other guy comes back. He controls him. Who wins the round? You don't know. The slam might have been a little harder than it's all subjective. It's all subjective, and this is the best sport in the world. Out there, don't ruin it.
All right, fine.
Open scoring, nonsense.
We're going to talk to Andy Foster, the best commissioner in sports, next, so we'll get his take on it all. Maybe he agrees with you. I appreciate you coming on and talking to us about it, Al.
Love you, Ariel. Always, my man.
There he is.
Disagreement. This is how we come to great resolutions with a little bit of argument between two of the most intelligent minds in the world.
I agree.
I'll talk to you, brother.
Please don't do it. Oh, there he is. He always does it. He always seems to do it.